The world is tired of hip hop culture. What up, YouTube? This is No Cap No Filter. I'm your host, Molly G, back at another episode of Running With You. And today we got to run it about just this in this video. This man is just going off saying how the world is just tired of hip hop culture. I haven't seen this video. We're going to react to it together. And without further ado, let's see what this guy is talking about. I'm guessing he's going to point to all the negative stereotypes of hip hop culture and black culture. But let's go ahead on and hear him out.
In the next 2 to 3 years, hip hop is not going to exist. And the World Cup is the reason why. Currently, the World Cup is going on here in America, and you got a whole bunch of white people and other people who have traveled from their respective countries to America to enjoy the World Cup. And that is exactly what they're doing. You have people from all walks of life who have come to America to watch the World Cup and partake in American culture. And they are doing just that. And the number one thing they are not encountering is black fatigue or the activities that lead to that. And I think what you guys are going to see when this is all over, you're going to have a bunch of people around America from all walks of life, Asian, Hispanic, white, whatever. They're going to be between the ages of like 12 and 25. And they are going to look back at 2026 World Cup America, and they're going to yearn for that. They're going to want more of that. And they're going to do whatever they need to do to get more of it. And there's not going to be a whole lot that they can do. And they're going to look at the one thing that allowed them to have peace and happiness and some semblance of fun and joy. And they're going to say, we got to get rid of black culture. And they're going to say that because they are experiencing what could be if black culture is restrained. Keep in mind, I'm not saying all black people are bad. I'm not trying to race pander or anything like that. I'm simply saying, I don't know if black people are just being on their collective best behavior or if the cops have been given special instructions with how to handle black culture. But whatever the case might be, people are seeing what is possible when black culture is restrained and everybody else's culture is allowed to go out there and have some fun. And it's going to be glorious to them and they're going to want more of it. Now, keep in mind, hip hop started with a moment. It started with one song. I think it was like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five or something like that. It's called The Message. That was the song that kicked it all off. Well, just like hip hop was started with one particular moment, it can be ended in one particular moment.
Okay, I don't think the world is tired of hip hop culture. You go everywhere and everybody emulates hip hop culture. Now, does hip hop, you know, is it leading the charts right now, on these billboards? No, it's not, the focal point of the billboards right now. I think that's due to a lot of different things. I don't damn. I don't feel like we have a lot of stars compared to what we once did, back in the early 90s and the early 2000s. And I don't think that these guys of today, are as lyrical and literate as those guys. Like rap used to be about, who could really spit, but at the same time make some high stuff. Now it's about who could make some high stuff and who has a lot of, you know, drama around them, and just it's just gimmicks. It's a whole lot of gimmicks going on. But as far as the black fatigue part, as far as the black culture part, and a lot of other communities are just tired of it. I do think a lot of other communities, you know, are tired of it. And the social media aspect makes them even more tired because once you click on something, that algorithm is going to feed that to you. So if you're seeing a lot of black people fighting in your algorithm, it's odds are you keep clicking on these things. If you're not seeing that, then you're not clicking on these things, and your algorithm is totally different than the next. You know. Now, I do think a lot of these, other communities, even before social media, they didn't like it. But I think the fatigue is even more real when everything is just posted online. You know. Um, when it comes to the World Cup theory, I mean, I could see where he going with that because you could probably say the same thing with the Olympics in Atlanta a long time ago when I think the Olympics came out there. I believe somebody fact checked that in the comment section, but this was like during the height of the BMF days. This was during the height of the gangs and all that, back in the 90s and things of that nature. And I remember in Atlanta, they had this task force called the Red Dogs, and they were just trying to clean up all the gangs, all the drug dealers, and, get them up out of there so they could have a peaceful Olympics, when they came to America in Atlanta. And the same thing can be said about the World Cup. They probably got some type of task force specifically, to go against black culture tied things, and you know, uh organizations to try to control this stuff, you know. And I don't think it's just gonna be, focused on that. Like I remember Chuck the Builder, like he was going around doing what he was doing. He was in Nashville, and that's where the Super Bowl is gonna be next year. So I think any type of Chud the Builder copycats, they trying to make an example out of Chud the Builder right now to make sure no people try to follow suit. So it ain't just, black. I think anybody who just doing any type of degeneracy or being disruptive to everybody in the environment, they trying to get a hold on these things, and it's just sad that my people are the people who are the, you know, is it's like the number one community, because I think a lot of people glorify this. Like even with the big old brawl that they had in Carnival, you look in the comment section, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the young girl, she was throwing them things," and it was a lot of bad people, even females. Instead of just being disgusted on what they seeing and how can we just, get away from this. And I think a lot of the times is home training. I think a lot of the times is what we teach our childs. I think a lot of the times is how, instead of having certain conflict resolutions, we teach our children to hit back. I think we don't have no type of, you know, dissolving any type of conflict resolutions. Instead of just we tend to use violence, low emotional immaturity. I think a lot of that is the lack of having a father in the house. People are raised by these single moms. Like it's a lot. Not to mention, all the type of music that they pushing in hip hop.
I think this World Cup is going to be the moment. Keep in mind, rock and roll, same thing. People just collectively woke up one day and they were over it and it all just evaporated. You don't hear any popular rock and roll right now. So just like a thing can get started, it can be ended. And I think the fun and the joy that people are having, devoid of whether you want to call it black culture, black fatigue, whatever the case might be, the fun and the joy that people are having without black folks acting up, they're going to want more of it, and they're going to say they're going to press the delete button on hip hop culture so they could have more of this.
Hmm. And also with Carnival Cruise, they did a whole lot of changes to their rules and regulations. They made a lot of little changes that turned black people away from buying tickets. And I think that was the plan. So I don't think hip hop is going nowhere, but I do see what he's saying, and I do think that they're going to try to emulate a lot of different things to put control on these situations. You know, but I want to know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Do you agree with him? Do you disagree? Let me know what y'all feeling in the comment section. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what you're waiting on. Until next time, I'm out.